Hello and welcome back to the channel where flavor knows no borders. This is Food Around Me.
You probably think Japan is all about elegant sushi, graceful tea ceremonies, and dreamy cherry blossom sceneries. Sorry to burst that bubble, but reality is saltier than the Sea of Japan. In Japanese cuisine, there are dishes that, at first glance, can make Americans instantly text their therapist. Today, we dive deep into the top 10 Japanese foods that shock Americans, where you'll see everything from fish that's still breathing to dishes that feel less like dinner and more like a test of human nerves and hormones.
If you've made it this far, maybe your curiosity isn't average. Maybe you don't just eat to survive, you eat to understand, so don't just scroll away. Drop a thought in the comments, something only you would say. Like this video if it sparked anything inside you. And hit subscribe, not for the algorithm, but for the next question you never knew you needed. Because here, we don't feed the masses, we feed the minds that wonder.
The sashi, also known as horse sashimi, is one of Japan's most refined yet shocking delicacies. Thin slices of fresh, ruby red horse meat, served with grated ginger and soy sauce, melt in your mouth with a distinct sweetness only raw meat can deliver. For Americans, horses are friends for riding, cowboy movies, or children's stories, not food. So when they see a plate of basashi, the first reaction is often, "Wait, you eat My Little Pony." But in Japan, basashi is a symbol of freshness and masculine strength, packed with iron and protein, and traditionally believed to boost male vitality. In other words, testosterone here isn't just produced in your body, it's served right on the plate, with a dab of wasabi and the deep culinary heritage of Kumamoto, the region most famous for this dish. Natto, Japan's fermented soybeans, is the kind of food that, if you didn't grow up with it, your first reaction might be, did someone forget to wash this bowl since last week? The shiny beans stretch into long, sticky strings like super glue, releasing a strong, earthy smell. But wait, don't run away just yet. In Japan, natto is considered a superfood with over 1,000 years of history. Scientifically speaking, natto is packed with vitamin K2 for strong bones and healthy blood flow, and contains nattokinase, an enzyme that helps dissolve blood clots. In other words, it's like a street cleaning crew for your circulatory system. For Americans, it's a different story. Breakfast means pancakes, bacon, or dry cereal. Hand them a bowl of sticky natto and say, "It's good for you," and it's like offering them a glass of slime protein shake. Many Americans who've lived in Japan long enough end up addicted to natto, even bringing it back home for breakfast every day. Maybe that's because once you get past its unfriendly appearance, natto becomes like that weird friend no one else understands, except you. Shirako, the name sounds delicate and poetic. Until you realize it literally means fish sperm sac. Yes, exactly what you're imagining is what's sitting in that bowl. In Japan, shirako is considered a delicacy, often from pufferfish or cod, with a creamy, custard-like texture and a light, buttery flavor that melts on your tongue. Diners describe it as a warmth you can't quite explain, romantic words, until you learn the truth. Scientifically, shirako is packed with protein, omega-3s, and nutrients beneficial for the nervous system and heart. Culturally, it highlights a stark difference. In the West, reproductive organs are often avoided, while in Japan, they're celebrated as part of honoring the whole animal, wasting nothing. And perhaps that's the beauty of cuisine. What you find impossible to swallow might just be the happiest moment of someone else's meal. Inego no tsukudani, sweet salty simmered grasshoppers from Japan, is the kind of dish that makes many Americans itch just hearing about it. For them, insects belong in camping horror stories and shrieks over cockroaches, not dinner plates. But in rural Japan, especially in mountainous regions, grasshoppers were once a precious source of protein when fish and meat were scarce. The grasshoppers are cleaned, briefly boiled, then slowly simmered in soy sauce, sugar, and mirin until glossy, flavorful, and perfectly crunchy sweet. It may look like a nightmare to an insect phobie, but that savory sweet aroma can send many Japanese straight back to childhood memories. From a scientific perspective, insects have more protein per weight than beef, with less saturated fat. In our age of sustainability, this humble dish might just be rebranded as a superfood of the future, and who knows, maybe one day, America won't just have beef burgers, but grasshopper burgers. Fugu, the deadly pufferfish, is the kind of dish where one wrong cut means no dessert, ever. Its flesh is white, firm, and delicately fresh, but its fame comes from the lethal tetrodotoxin concentrated in its liver and roe. Only licensed chefs are allowed to prepare it, after years of rigorous training to keep diners alive. For the Japanese, fugu is a symbol of bravery and prestige. Eating it is both a pleasure and a flirtation with death. If sushi is the art of the sea, then hormonal is the symphony of innards. In Japan, hormonal refers to grilled beef or pork, offal, often including small intestines, stomach, liver, heart, all cut into bite-sized pieces, marinated in bold seasonings, and grilled directly over charcoal. The name hormonal comes from the Kansai dialect, meaning discarded goods, because in the past, these parts were rarely used in fine dining. But over time, what was once thrown away evolved into a beloved delicacy and a staple drinking companion. From a scientific standpoint, organ meats are rich in vitamin A, B12, iron, and zinc, all crucial for testosterone production and sustained energy. It's no coincidence that many Japanese see hormonal as a power dish for men. There's even a playful saying that if you eat hormonal at night, the next morning you'll feel 10 years younger. For Americans, however, hormonal can be a serious cultural shock. In the West, offal is often associated with pet food or extreme eats for the adventurous. Many first-time visitors, upon seeing beef intestines on the grill with creamy white fat sizzling out, can't help but react, "Nope, not today." But for the Japanese, this is a story of resourcefulness, respecting every part of the animal and turning the least glamorous cuts into something exciting. In a society that treasures elegance, hormonal is the ultimate rule breaker. It's not refined. It's not delicate. Eating hormonal means sitting close around a grill, tongs in hand, sweat on your brow, the sizzling fat drowning out conversations. Uni, or sea urchin roe, might look like a golden orange sea foam, but it's considered one of Japan's most luxurious delicacies. Its taste, rich, salty, and just a little provocative, like kissing the lips of the ocean. The Japanese see uni as the pure essence of the sea, while many Americans squint and say, "Why does this melt in my mouth like salty butter mixed with seawater?" Interestingly, uni is rich in zinc and compounds that boost dopamine, the happy hormone, which might just make you feel a little euphoric, maybe even romantic. In Japan, uni isn't just food, it's a full sensory experience, from flavor to emotion. Wasabi, that tiny green paste that can make a grown adult cry in just 3 seconds. Americans often think it's like mustard, but wasabi delivers a very different kind of neural assault. It doesn't burn your tongue like chili. Instead, it shoots straight up your nose, pierces through your sinuses, blurs your vision, and makes your brain temporarily go offline for maintenance. In Japan, wasabi isn't just about adding heat. It's a palate cleanser and a natural antibacterial when eating raw fish like sashimi. But for first-timers who overdose, the reaction is like watching the saddest movie ever while inhaling a cloud of tear gas, tears streaming, face flushed, mouth wide open yet trying to act like I'm fine. I'm totally in control. In Japan, they actually have wasabi shot challenges to test both bravery and pain tolerance. And strangely, that ambush sensation becomes addictive for some, kind of like riding a roller. In Japan, there's a dish that, at first glance, might make you think, what's so special? It's just daikon radish, boiled eggs, fish cakes, sitting in a pot of broth. But if you sit next to that pot long enough, you'll understand why the Japanese treat it as a winter companion. This is oden, a slow-simmered hot pot, gently bubbling for hours, sometimes the entire day. What's fascinating is that oden isn't loud like the vigorously boiling hot pots of China or Vietnam. Its broth doesn't explode with flavor instantly. Instead, it releases a gentle aroma, slowly creeping into your senses like a calm conversation with an old friend, unhurried but warm. Each ingredient in oden feels like a character with its own backstory. Daikon radish, soft but not mushy, soaked through with umami broth. Boiled eggs, seemingly plain, but after long hours in the pot, the yolks turn a gentle brown, each bite a blend of sweet and savory. Fish cakes, springy, fragrant with the ocean. Here's the key. They all soak together in the same pot, sharing flavors, exchanging personalities. In other words, oden is true teamwork. No single ingredient overshadows the others, but the group as a whole becomes richer. This reflects a very Japanese sense of collectivism. Each individual blends into the whole, so the whole becomes perfect. If you look closely, oden is like a miniature society. Some people need more time to mature like the daikon, others absorb flavors quickly like eggs or tofu, yet they all exist within the same ecosystem, the broth. What's even more charming is that oden is often sold in Japanese convenience stores during winter. You walk in, freezing cold, and see a pot of oden quietly steaming. Just ladling out a small portion feels like recharging your life battery. The Japanese call it a comfort food, not because it fills your stomach, but because it makes you feel cared for. In an age where everything is fast food, fast fashion, fast life, oden stands as a reminder. Some things are only delicious when you let time do its work. Just like friendship, love, or even power, what comes too quickly often fades fast, but what is slowly nurtured lasts longer. The Japanese even have a playful metaphor. Oden is slow seduction. You don't feel it right away, but little by little, it seeps into your heart. And once you fall for it, you'll never forget that gentle warmth. You know fried eggs, right? A breakfast classic, from sunny side up to scrambled with scallions. But in Japan, they take it in a direction that makes many Westerners raise an eyebrow. Tamagoyaki, sweet rolled omelet. Yes, sweet. They whisk eggs with sugar, mirin, and sometimes a splash of sake, then skillfully roll them into thin, silky layers. When sliced, each tamagoyaki looks like a cozy yellow blanket for sushi. But for Americans, that sweetness is a culinary plot twist, because in their minds, eggs belong to the salty breakfast realm, alongside bacon and black coffee. In Japan, tamagoyaki isn't just food, it's a chef's skill test. Sushi masters are judged by their omelet. The thinner, the more even, the shinier, the more masterful the hand. This tradition comes from the philosophy of kaizen, continuous improvement, even in the simplest dish. You could say sweet tamagoyaki is Japan's version of Pancakes with syrup in America. Americans think it's weird because eggs plus sweet break the breakfast rulebook. Japanese people think the opposite. If you're eating eggs, why not explore every dimension of taste? A perfect tamagoyaki is sweet, mildly savory, soft yet springy, like love itself, requiring both tenderness and a touch of surprise.